Lock the machine and take the roll. Members will record their presence by pressing the green button. Clerk, lock the machine. We have 67 representatives present. There is a quorum. All rise for the invocation to be delivered by Representative Abney, who will also lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Representative Abney.
Dear Lord, Black history is American history. Let us dedicate today's session in honor of Elizabeth Betters, a young black woman on her way to church in New York in the 1850s. Violently thrown off the public transportation carriage, she refused to suffer this indignity. Her struggle resulted in the integration of public transportation in New York. We pray that we remember to always honor those whose courage in the face of injustice has made America a better place for all. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there any objection to the approval of the journal of the previous day? Hearing none, so ordered. The next order of business is communications. Clerk, please read.
Today, February 9th, 2016, Representative Jan P. Malik is unable to attend session today. Representative Fogarty is unable to attend session today, February 9th, 2016.
Thank you, Clerk. The next order of business is new business. Any new business out there? Representative Filippi with new business. Representative Ucci with new business. Whip Trillo with new business. Representative Costa with new business. Representative Coughlin with new business. Whip Edwards with new business. Representative Johnston with new business. Representative Messier with new business. Chairman McNamara, I believe, with new business. Representative Slater with new business. Representative Bennett with new business. Representative Marcello with new business. Representative Hearn with new business. Chairman Shekarchi with looks like a lot of new business back there. Representative Regenberg with new business. Representative McEntee with new business. Chairman Craven with new business. Chairwoman Macbeth with new business. Any further new business? Representative Ackerman with new business. Representative Ucci back there with new business. Any other new business? Representative Hull with new business. The next order of business is the calendar. I believe we have a consent calendar, Leader.
Yes, we do. I move the consent calendar at this time.
Leader DeSimone moves the consent calendar, seconded by Leader Newberry. There are no lights. Clerk, unlock the machine. All in favor of those items contained in the consent calendar, please vote green. Those opposed, red. Has every representative in their seat voted, please? Has every representative voted? Representative Ruggiero. Clerk, lock the machine. 69 in favor, 0 opposed. Those items contained in the consent calendar prevail. Clerk, please read the first item on the regular calendar.
Item number 1, number 7223.
Chairman Kennedy.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This comes to us from Representative Mello. It's an act to vacate the forfeiture or revocation of the charter of East Providence Towing, Inc. I move passage.
Chairman Kennedy moves passage. That is seconded by Representative Mello, Representative Casey, Representative Tabone, Representative Barros, Representative Coughlin. There are no lights. Clerk, unlock the machine. All in favor, please vote green. Those opposed, red. Has every representative voted? Representative Jaccard. Representative Maldonado. Clerk, lock the machine. 70 in favor, 0 opposed. The act prevails. Next item, Clerk.
Item number 2, number 7024.
Chairman Keeble.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. House Bill 7024 by Representative Regenberg would make Rhode Island the 31st state, including Massachusetts and Connecticut, to provide for online voter registration. It improves the accuracy and integrity of Rhode Island's voter rolls and helps remove duplicate registrations, identifies cross-state movers, and deceased voters. It also includes significant savings for our cities and towns, as it costs about $0.25 to register someone online versus $2 by mail. This bill was passed overwhelmingly by the House last year, and I move passage.
Chairman Keeble moves passage, seconded by Representative Corvese, Representative Bennett, Representative Diaz, Representative Hull, Representative McLaughlin, Representative Morin, Representative Mello, Representative Tobin, Representative Barros, Representative Abney, Representative Kazarian, Representative Coughlin, Representative Solomon, Whip Edwards, Representative Johnson, Representative Casey, Representative Blazejewski, Representative Agello, Representative Hearn, Chairman Kennedy, Representative Maldonado, Representative Ackerman, Representative Amori, Representative Palangio, Representative Lombardi, Chairman Handy, Representative Almeida, Representative Tanzi, Representative Ruggiero, Representative Carson, Representative McEntee, Chairman Craven, and Representative Marshall, as well as Representative Williams. Representative Giarrusso.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Will the chairman or the sponsor yield for a quick question?
The chairman will yield.
Chairman, you mentioned deceased and moved voters. How does online help that?
Because it's electronic, it's easier to cross-reference. If you move to Massachusetts and you register there, this system will pick up on that a lot faster than it would otherwise by paper ballot.
Now, how about the deceased? Will they cross-reference?
Same thing with, when your death certificate goes in, that gets cross-referenced. So it's going to help clean up the voter rolls a lot. It's also a great election year bill because it'll help, for us candidates, help clean up the voter rolls too.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Representative Corvese.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise in support of this bill. I want to pay particular attention to page 2, line 7. I had a problem with the language where it said the Secretary of State. Last time it said may establish. It now says the Secretary of State shall establish. I feel a lot more comfortable with this bill. I agree with Chairman Keeble that this is going to clean up the rolls in many ways, especially with regard to people who have registered to vote in 2 or more places. I think this is a good bill, and I urge its passage.
Representative Filippi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And last year I voted against this bill, and this year I'm going to vote for it for one specific change. On page 2, line 18, it now says the Secretary of State shall verify applicant information, whereas last year it said the Secretary may verify applicant information. And I was concerned last year that there weren't enough protections in there for fictitious applications. And now there are. And I'd like to thank the sponsor and the Secretary of State for working with us to make sure that this language was changed and made much better. So I do give it my unequivocal support. Thank you, Speaker.
Representative Regenberg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I wanted to rise just to acknowledge the dedication and extremely hard work by Secretary of State Gorbea and her entire team on this bill. This legislation is the result of a lot of research, countless conversations with folks at every level of our election system, and a good amount of compromise. So I really think it should be a no-brainer, not only for anyone who wants to open our system and make sure it's accessible to Rhode Islanders, but also for anyone who wants to maintain the integrity and security of our election system. It's 2016. We should act like it. And I also want to thank the Speaker and the whole House leadership team for their forward-thinking support of this. Let's make it happen. Thank you.
There are no lights. Clerk, unlock the machine. All in favor, please vote green. Those opposed, red. Clerk, lock the machine. 70 in favor, 0 opposed. The act prevails. I believe that completes the calendar. Next order of business, announcements and introductions. Chairman Kennedy.
Announcement, Mr. Speaker, that the House Committee on Corporations will be meeting at the Rise in room 101.
Deputy Speaker Lima.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Adjournment.
Proceed.
Thank you. I ask that the House adjourn in memory of Josephine Petronti of Cranston. She was the loving wife of Nicholas Petronti for 65 years, and she worked for the state school lunch program. Besides her husband, she was the devoted mother of Nicholas Petronti, of Donna Petronti, and Deborah Petronti. And she was the grandmother of 4 and the loving great-grandmother of 4. And she was also the dear sister of Anna Polino of Cranston and Yolanda Tagliaferri and Assunta DiMuccio. And she will be dearly missed by her family. Thank you.
Representative Canario.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Introduction, please.
Proceed.
Ladies and gentlemen of the House, I would like to introduce to you a couple of folks that made it all possible today for the display we have outside the chambers with all the natural foods that you saw, and hopefully you partook in some of the goodies out there. The two individuals I would like to introduce, Mr. Speaker, is Liz Gardia from the Rhode Island Coalition of GMO Labeling, and Tara Cook-Littman, the founder for Citizens for GMO Labeling. Would you please welcome them to the chamber?
Welcome to the House of Representatives. Representative Ucci.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Request for adjournment, please.
Proceed.
I humbly request that the House adjourn today in the memory of John Furia. John was a longtime Johnston resident, is an honorably discharged veteran from the Vietnam War. John suffered for many years with illness related to his service, and as a resident of Johnston, I'll tell you, everyone loved him. He was very active in the Little League, very active in Veterans Affairs, and he was just a great family man and a person who put a smile on everyone's face. John would often have coffee with us in the coffee shop in the morning, and was always a quick wit and one to question me on the goings-on in this chamber. And he was laid to rest yesterday, and he will be sorely missed by his family. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We certainly will. Thank you, Representative. Leader DeSimone moves House Resolution extending congratulations. That is seconded by Leader Newberry. All in favor, aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Leader DeSimone moves House Resolution extending condolences. That is seconded by Leader Newberry. All those in favor, aye. All those opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Representative Giarrusso.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Request for adjournment, please.
Proceed.
On Friday, my lovely wife Janet lost her dad. So my father-in-law, he's been battling heart disease for a while, and Friday, on my birthday, was the day that he passed away. So I'd like to adjourn in memory of James Rinaldi, and he'll be sorely missed by the whole family. Thank you.
Sorry to hear that, Representative. We certainly will, and will certainly keep you, your family, in our thoughts and prayers. Representative Chippendale.
Thank you, Speaker. First, my condolences to Representative Russo and his family. Speaker, a request for adjournment.
Proceed.
Excuse me. Tuesday, a good friend of mine, Gary King, lost his wife, who was 54 years young. She passed away at home after struggling with illness. Her name was Carol Dante King. Carol was a bookkeeper in a lot of businesses in the area, Rhode Island Provisions, La Bottega. She worked for Matt Dentuano, who was an accountant, and a couple of other businesses. And Carol was a fixture in the community. She was at all of our meetings in the community, whether they were financial town meetings, school committee hearings for budgets and things of that nature. Carol also worked with the Girl Scouts, the Gloucester Little League, the Cub Scouts. She was even a den mother. And she was very fond of taking care of loved ones in her family as well as friends and their loved ones as they were at the end stages of their own lives. She was a dear woman, and she's left a tremendous hole in the lives of not just Gary, my friend, but her children, Garrett, David, and Peter Prevette, all of Gloucester. She also leaves her two brothers, Joseph and Thomas. And again, she will be sorely missed, and I just ask that we respectfully adjourn in Carol Dante King's memory, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
We will, Representative. Representative Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
Request an announcement.
Proceed.
My announcement is that the House Committee on Health, Education and Welfare, we're meeting today at the lounge room. After the meeting we have with the leadership today. And after that, all members, please go to the lounge because we're meeting. And my request, Mr. Speaker, can we coming back to business, new business?
Representative Diaz with new business. Representative Winfield, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Can we just let the record show that I also second the condolence for Carol Dante King?
We certainly can.
Thank you.
Thank you, Representative. Chairman Gallison.
Now, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed.
First of all, I have a House resolution for immediate consideration with the consent of the minority and majority leader, congratulating Chief Robert Martin on his retirement. It does not have to be read. And secondly, the House fiscal staff has prepared their second look at the budget. And everyone should have a copy. If you do not, please let me know. And this one contains the explanation of the articles and local aid, so I'd like to point that out. And lastly, the House Committee on Finance will be meeting at the Rise in Room 35. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Chairman. Any other announcements or introductions? Announcements, introductions. Deputy Speaker Lima.
Mr. Speaker, could we go back to new business for a minute?
Deputy Speaker Lima with new business. Any other new business out there? Chairman Gallison moves House Resolution congratulating Robert Martin, Chief of the Bristol Fire Department, on his retirement after many years of faithful service to the citizens of Bristol. That is seconded by Representative Marshall and Representative Riley. All in favor, aye. All opposed, nay. The ayes have it. Any other announcements or introductions? Leader DeSimone.
Announcement, please, Mr. Speaker.
Proceed, Leader.
The House will meet in session tomorrow at 3 p.m., 1 hour earlier, due to the fact that we're going to take up the roadworks legislation, and it is posted on the calendar. Also, the deadline will be extended to February 23rd for the introduction of all bills. After that, you'll have to use Rule 7D. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Leader. Representative Marshall.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Can we go back to new business, please?
Representative Marshall with new business. Any other new business out there? Representative Slater with new business. Representative Kazarian, I believe, with new business. Any other new business? Is there any objection to transmitting all matters on the clerk's desk to Her Excellency the Governor, the Honorable Senator, the Secretary of State forthwith? Hearing none, so ordered. Any other new business, announcements, or introductions? Lita D. Simone moves that the House adjourn in memory of Carol Dante King, Josephine Pederunti, John Furia, James Rinaldi. The motion is seconded by Lita Newberry. All those in favor, please stand for a moment of silence. The House stands adjourned.